What is up, everybody? It is your boy Jesse Williams, aka J Will, from the Dads in Time Out Sports Show. And I was not gonna do a video because I was tired and I was sleepy and Well, you know what? I'm about to go on this Army thing. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to shoot another video. It could be a month. And we're up to over 220 views on YouTube, plus about another 150 views on Facebook overall from all our video content on there. I don't know how many listens we have on Spotify and Apple and Google, but I know people have been subscribing on there. I know that people have been liking Facebook posts, and everyone has been so encouraging, and everyone has been so great. Sound like Trump now. Oh, so great, so great. Hope that didn't ruffle your feathers. It was just a joke, people. But you know what? Today, I'm here, like Jalen Rose says, to give the people what they want. And what y'all want is for me, as my camera falls, to give y'all one last video before I leave. That's even a better picture. Look at that. And I'm going to take a swig of my energy drink so I can be hyped during this video. Honestly, I didn't even think about what I was going to talk about today. But I would like to start out by saying that my girl came up, needed to get some stuff from me at work. I was on lunch break, and there's this old dude that was outside in a riding cart smoking a cigarette, and he, I guess, told another customer to run me over. Ha ha ha, he was joking, and I thought it was hilarious. And then me and him talked. He said he used to be like a front man for biker rallies, and he was just a cool old man. So you never know the kind of people you're going to meet in life. I didn't get his name. We talked for about 2 minutes. Shout him out. And he's kind of the reason I wanted to do this video, just because he motivated me to rise above my sleepiness to give y'all a video. So by the time that I come back, the NBA Finals will be over. The NBA will be entering free agency. The Olympics will be in full swing. And baseball will be heating up the pennant races. Even though most of the divisions, except for the NL West, there's large gaps in the leagues. Even though Toronto is coming on strong, my team is falling apart, the Indians. But I mean, we lost Lindor, we lost Kluber, we lost Clevenger, we lost Bauer, which those moves, honestly, if you look at how those players are performing, don't look so bad. So I think we're 42-40. We've lost like 6 in a row. We had a really good start to the season, but sometimes the season just doesn't go the way you want to. I'm not jumping off being a fan, even though y'all saw what I posted on Twitter. As a fan, sometimes you just have to be realistic. Like, for instance, I'm a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. So when I became a Cavaliers fan in 1990, 91-ish, I was 6, 7 years old. Mark Price, Brad Daugherty, Larry Nance, Craig Elo. I don't even know if Craig Elo was still on the team. From that point on until about 1997, the Cavaliers were pretty decent. They got to Eastern Conference Finals against the Bulls. They got to the playoffs a bunch, only missed the playoffs a couple of years. Of course, they couldn't get to the finals, which is fine because, in my opinion, Brad Daugherty and Mark Price are two players that, while I don't think they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, are really close. And both had injuries later in their career, but both were really, really, really good players. And so I've always been proud to be a Cavaliers fan. But it seemed like Dan Gilbert bought the team, and then it was just like tank. And we got LeBron James. And I say we because it's my team. I know I'm not part of the team and all that, so calm down. All these people are like, don't stop saying we. It's like, man, don't tell me what to say, bro. I will say what I want, and I will say it how I feel like saying it. And so, and that's just me, bro. Like, guy, that's just how I roll, man. So the Cavaliers then got LeBron. And they missed the playoffs 2 years in a row, even though they had a winning record, at least in the second year. And then, LeBron was there, and they went to the NBA Finals and a conference finals. And then LeBron left, and they were garbage, but they got Kyrie Irving and Tristan Thompson, and they built a little bit of a thing. LeBron and Kevin Love show up. They go to 4 finals. They win a championship. And then LeBron leaves again, which, to be fair, LeBron coming back to Cleveland at all was a miracle in itself after Dan Gilbert and his little going away present to LeBron. Go look it up. And I was cheering at the VFW, probably intoxicated, which I'm not proud of, but we live and learn from our indiscretions. And I was happy. And then I woke up the next day and I'm like, hey, that was kind of foul. And so as a Cavaliers fan now, we've drafted a bunch of guards, and I'm realistic. I'm like, all right, unless we luck into a number one pick and a once-in-a-generational superstar, we're probably not going to be great. The Cleveland Indians don't spend a lot of money, but the one thing I will say is the difference between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cleveland Indians is why I left the Pirates in 1993, 94-ish, and became an Indians fan, is because I just saw there was no commitment to winning. There are ways, like the Tampa Bay Rays have proven, that you can field a competitive team and win. This all started with Moneyball, really this started way back when. There have been cheap owners forever. The Oakland A's, the Philadelphia A's, probably the Kansas City A's. Charles Kaminsky is why were originally labeled the Black Sox before the Black Sox scandal, because he wouldn't even pay to get his players' laundry done. And so the Indians, at least in their budget, at least go after and try to build a team that can contend. And then once they got to the World Series and lost, they actually went out and spent money on Edwin Encarnacion, and it didn't work out, and they ended up getting rid of him later. But they don't pay massive mega deals, which I'm not totally opposed to. They always have arms coming out of that farm system. And so I can respect the fact, and we went and hired a World Series winning manager in Terry Francona. And so I can respect that organization, even though they frustrate me sometimes, right? I would have paid Lindor, and maybe it's New York, maybe it's the National League pitching, I don't know. Lindor is not a 215 hitter. He's so talented. I'm not here to disparage Francisco Lindor. He was a great representative for our franchise. And so I just think that it's kind of like when you go on Netflix or Hulu and you watch a B movie, and there's not a whole lot of big name actors except for like those movies with Bruce Willis and Nicolas Cage and Samuel L. Jackson at this point in their career, where like you don't know anybody else in the movie except them, and you can tell it's just like, hey, they get to be themselves and they get to shoot this movie and do whatever they want and get paid. And you have to go into that movie with expectations like, okay, so I know that this isn't going to be probably the greatest filmmaking ever. It's probably not going to be the greatest acting ever, but is it entertaining? Does the product that is being presented entertain me as a fan? So a lot of people, like Marvel has done such a great job with their franchise. So I think what happens is we watch DC movies and we expect it to be Marvel, but they're different franchises and different character arcs. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still taking Marvel over DC almost every day of the week. But DC hasn't made all terrible movies. The Dark Knight trilogy was great. I didn't like The Dark Knight Rises as much as I did the first two films, but those movies were really good. V for Vendetta was a very good movie. The problem is that DC decided that they were going to go try to be Marvel. And so they rushed their universe. So they came out with Man of Steel, smart move. I like that movie a lot. Then they came out with, I think it was Batman vs. Superman, if I'm not mistaken. And then they came out with Wonder Woman and Justice League, and then Aquaman. I may have got that order mixed up. But it made no sense because we didn't have any introduction to the characters. And now they're switching Batmans again. And Robert Pattinson may do a great job. I'm going to watch that film. But the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, I think, was a weird but good movie. There have been DC movies that I have liked. But Marvel knocked that universe stuff out of the park. Now, DC has made great TV shows. Now, some of my listeners aren't left-leaning politically, which is fine because neither am I. Totally, right? And so I'm not totally, like, I'm more of a centrist, right? But politics notwithstanding, I understand their complaints about, like, a gun control episode in every series. But Gotham was great. Arrow was great. I haven't finished Flash, but it's really good, and I haven't watched Supergirl. So DC has done some things right. And so I think that what happens is that we curtail our expectations based on other things that we see. So the Oakland A's haven't broke through and won a World Series under Billy Beane, but they've been very competitive. They always build it up, break it back down. They're currently in the first or second wild card right now. They were in first place, but the Astros have overtaken them. But Oakland, at least, would you rather be the Marlins, for example, who have one championship, or two championships, sorry, in 1997 against my Indians, and in 2003 against the Yankees? Would you rather be the Marlins and suck pretty much your entire existence except for those two championships? Or would you rather be the Oakland Athletics, who are always competitive but haven't broken through? Because the Oakland A's have World Series. They won 3 World Series in the 70s. They won the 1989 World Series. They got to the World Series in 88 and lost to the Dodgers, and they got there in 90 and got swept by the Reds. But remember, they also swept the Giants during the Earthquake Series of 1989. And you had Canseco and McGuire and Dave Stewart. Got to pause this alarm real quick. Sorry about that. And so you have a franchise that has not really just been awful. So I think it's all within your perspective. And that's another thing. Black Widow's coming out. Are we going to hold Black Widow to Endgame? No. I have a thing about movies and TV shows where I try to like it for what it is, even in the Fast and Furious series, which started out as street racing, and then they kind of changed it up once The Rock showed up. But they've carried this thing on, and it's been so successful. And I'm still interested in the franchise. I mean, the stunts and everything are out of control. It's so unrealistic. But the whole concept of family has been kind of the theme throughout that thing. So the interesting thing with The Rock and Vin Diesel's beef, which they say is over, whatever, who cares? And The Rock's not going to, or Dwayne Johnson, excuse me, is not going to be in this installment. But it's teasing like he's going to make an appearance in Fast 10, which is supposed to be the last movie. Now, I think they said that Fast 10 might be in 2 different parts. And then people are like, why are you still making these movies? I'm like, because the people enjoy being in them. Tyrese, Ludacris, Michelle Rodriguez, Jordana Brewster. That's me. That's gosh, what's Paul Walker's sister's name in the series? What's Brian's sister's name? Mia, I think. And so even after Paul Walker, you could say it's a money grab, but people are still going to the theaters and spending money on this franchise. So it kind of relates back to sports. It's, what are we going to spend our money on? Anyone can be a Yankees fan, even though they haven't won the World Series since 2009. Anybody can hop on a bandwagon. Oh, I like this team. I like this team. Like, I rooted for the Heat when LeBron was there the last 3 years. And I rooted for the Lakers when LeBron was there. But I'm not a Lakers fan, and I was not a Heat fan. LeBron is from my hometown, Akron, Ohio. And so I root for LeBron, the basketball player. But I've always been a Cavaliers fan. It's just, I'm not going to sit here and post video after video about the Cavaliers. They're not relevant. And their whole situation is a mess. I still root for them. I still check every single box score. Like, I don't watch MLB games mainly because I don't really have the means to, but I follow Gamecasts and follow the games. Like, I could tell you last night that it was a back and forth game with the Rays, and they lost in the bottom of the 9th inning. And I was peeved. I was peeved. I was pissed. I was upset. But I got over it. Because sports, though I love it, and the reason I love sports is because of the competition. It's why I liked battle rap. It's a competition, friendly competition. At the end of the day, though, it's not worth losing friends over. It's not worth fighting over. It's supposed to be entertainment. That's what the E in ESPN stands for, if you didn't know. That's what these movies are supposed to be. So when I'm critical of Star Wars movies, I'm not bashing on the people that made them. Well, actually I do, to be fair. They still made a lot of money, but it's entertainment. Now, if you think that The Last Jedi was the greatest movie ever, that's your opinion. Now, I can point out why I think that's ludicrous, but I don't have your eyes and your ears and your sensibilities and your tastes. So I'm not going to feel the same way about something that you do, which is absolutely fine. I have friends that are liberal. I have friends that are Democrats. I have friends that are Republicans. I have friends that are conservative. I have friends that are Christian and atheist and Buddhist leaning and agnostic who are just trying to figure it all out. It doesn't mean that I compromise what I think and believe. Most of the people watching this video on Facebook don't even care about sports, but they support me, and so I shout them out, Russell Pedron. I shout them out, Stephen Bullard. I shout them out, Ashton Harbison. I shout them out, Z Parks. I shout out George Shiplet Cruz. I shout out everybody. Now, I didn't shout out everybody because we'd be here all day. But I use those as an example because my buddy Pedron told me he only really cares about college football. But he shares my stuff and he likes it on Facebook. And my YouTube's getting bigger. And it's not about numbers, even though I do kind of fret over the numbers. Because I want people to see it and I want people to enjoy the content. Well, anyways, I got to get back to work. So I hope that I find a time to sneak in a video or two while I'm gone. But if not, I will see y'all back in August. Hit that subscribe button. I got 42 subscribers now. Started out when I got back into this at 8. So we're picking up. Check my link tree. Follow me at Twitter at JWillSportsGuy. You can find my link tree, which shows my links to TikTok, which I post nothing on because I'm too old for TikTok. You can find my YouTube, which is this. You can find my Spotify, Apple, Google, and all the other ones. I'm not going to name all them because it would take too long. Anyways, I have to go. Shout out to Anchor for distributing my podcast, by the way. That's really dope that y'all have the platform for us to be able to do that. So, until next time, this has been another episode of Dad's in Timeout. I'm your host, Jesse Williams, a.k.a. J. Will, a.k.a. Jesse James the Outlaw. And until next time, y'all take care and peace out.